Hi, I'm Joel Schrank, voiceover talent and audio expert, here with another quick recording tip. So, one of the things I love about working in voiceover is that I get to work from home. It's pretty awesome to be able to record, go out and hang out with my family, have lunch, and then come back and record some more. It's a pretty cool life. But there are the occasions where a client's going to want you to record on their end. So, what do you do? Well, occasionally the client will actually have you come into their studio and you can record things with their microphone and their booth and actually just physically being there. Honestly, I can count on one hand the number of times I've done that, though. It's pretty uncommon, especially considering the technology that we have today, where you can connect with a client from your home studio and you can they can record things on their end. So how do you do that? Well, there's a cool thing called Source Connect. If you've been in voiceover for any amount of time, you've probably heard of Source Connect. It's a pretty cool little bit of technology that allows you to transmit broadcast quality audio over the internet. It's kind of become the industry standard now. It's replacing the old ISDN that was like a hard line, cable line, kind of like a telephone line that went into your home. And it did the same thing. It transmitted broadcast quality audio, but it did it kind of over actual hard lines. And it's a lot more expensive to get installed. I don't even know if you can get it installed in a lot of areas anymore. It's kind of become a dying technology, I think. Not as many people use it anymore because Source Connect is here. And you can do stuff over the internet now. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's pretty simple to use, too. But I'll be honest, when I first started working with it, I had a couple of issues, and I thought I'd share them with you so that you don't have the same problems I did, and you can learn from my mistakes. First of all, Source Connect comes in a couple of ways you can purchase it, basically. I mean, you download the software. That, I believe, is just a free download. You can just have it on your computer. But like many things now, you can't use it unless you have the little subscription code. And so, in order to get that, you've got to either spend 650 bucks, which will allow you to just have unlimited use of it. You can basically just have it forever for as long as you want. That's kind of a steep price to pay, though, if you're not really using it a ton or if you're just starting out. Um, Another option that they offer is $35 a month, which is a really cool thing. And I thought, when I first started looking into it, I had a client who was interested in using Source Connect. I thought, well, I know they have a kind of options to use it on a more limited basis. I thought, oh, there's $35 to use it a month. And I went and I downloaded it. I got it all set up. I got it ready to do that and found out that there was actually an extra $75 setup fee included when you want to do it that way. And so it ended up being a little bit more money than I thought it was going to be. But I thought, well, I need to use it for this job, so I'm just going to have to pay it, and I'll just take it out of the money that I get from the job. That's what I did, and it worked fine. It ended up being, what, $110 when I used it. And then I had the client come back the next month, and they want to do another job with Source Connect. And I was like, ugh, like, I'm going to have to keep paying $110 every time it gets. When you cancel it, it doesn't just pick things back up where you left off, unfortunately. That's kind of what I was hoping, actually. You got to pay the $75 setup fee yet again if you've canceled your subscription, and which I did because I didn't think I needed it again for a little while. And yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to have to pay $110 every time I want to use Source Connect. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and just spend 650 bucks and just get it. Like, I'm already part of the way there if I'm thinking about it from that way, as far as how much money I've already spent on it. And then I discovered that you can actually get a 2-day subscription for 25 bucks, which is a lot more reasonable. So if you only use Source Connect every now and then, if you just want to look into it and see what does it do, how does it work, spend the 25 bucks, get a 2-day subscription. It's definitely the better option if you're not using it all the time. It wasn't immediately obvious to me that that was available, so you kind of have to look for it a little bit to find it. But it's definitely the way to go. And there's no setup fee. It's literally just the $25. You get it for 2 days, and then you don't get it again until you pay more. Another thing you got to remember with Source Connect, since it's over the internet, you want to be sure you have a good, strong internet connection. Part of that is using an Ethernet cable to plug in your internet to your computer. If you don't just do this in general, it's not a bad idea because it gives you a bit of a stronger internet connection. But especially if you're using something where you're trying to submit broadcast quality audio over the internet, you want as consistent and as strong of an internet connection as you can get. And the Ethernet cable is definitely the way to go with that. Now, I struggled with it a little bit when I first started using this because my Ethernet cable wasn't working. My computer and my internet weren't really jiving, and I was having issues with it, and I didn't totally understand what was going on, and I had a session the next day. So I just made it work with Wi-Fi, and actually, it didn't work. I had some connectivity issues and it just didn't work that day. So we ended up having to reschedule for the next day, which was super embarrassing as a talent. I was like, I want to be professional, and technology is not working for me. It makes me look like an idiot because I kind of was. I was trying to use it over Wi-Fi, and it's not, that's not going to work the best. It's not going to be the best option there. So I did end up getting it to work for a little bit over Wi-Fi, and it worked fine the next day for the session. There were a couple of times where the audio would kind of drop, and so I'd have to go back and do a phrase again because I'd just be speaking and it would just drop out. The connection would drop and they'd miss a word or something like that. I'd have to go back and redo a line. So that was kind of frustrating, and even more than that, the lag began to really become noticeable as we were going. I would say something, it would take like 2 or 3 seconds for it to get to them, and if you've ever had a conversation with someone with like an international phone call or something like that, you know how frustrating it is to try and actually have a conversation with someone when there's like a 2 or 3 second lag. It doesn't sound like much, but when you're trying to have a conversation, it's really hard to do. Again, especially in a business relationship where you're trying to build this relationship with your client and you can't really have a conversation with them because your connection's not strong enough. So there, learn from my mistakes. Don't do the stupid things I did. Don't pay more than you need to, and definitely get a good, strong internet connection when you use it. The last thing that I would recommend doing, because I do this every single time before I connect with Source Connect, is check your connection with the Echo feature that they have. Source Connect's kind of like AOL Instant Messenger. If you ever used that a long time ago, you can kind of look through and find your contacts. You have to search and find your contacts, and so you find the studio you want to work with, and you can connect with them. You can send them text messages and stuff. But you also can connect to what's called an Echo. And so you can find the Echo, you link onto the Echo, and then you speak into your microphone, and it bounces it back to you. So you can know that it's working, basically. It's really just a test to make sure that it works. I do that, especially from my initial issues that I had with Source Connect. I do it every single time that I connect. I log on about 10 minutes before. I just hook onto the Echo. I speak into the microphone, go check, check, check. It bounces back, check, 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 and I know it's working. So again, highly recommend you do that just to make sure there are no issues. It's always good to make sure that you've got all the boxes checked before you go into the session with the client. And last but not least, always record things on your end when you're recording any situation where you're recording over Source Connect or anything like that, where the client's recording it on their end. You want to be sure that you're recording on your end too, if you can, because if something were to happen, if for some reason the connection didn't work, or who knows, if they just lost the file on their end, it just didn't record properly, but you had a great take, you don't want to lose that. So it definitely, again, makes you look more professional if you can go to the client and say, hey, no, don't worry about it. I got it recorded on my end. I'll just send you the file. We're good. And that'll make them so happy. So learn again from my mistakes. Go out, use Source Connect, get lots and lots of jobs with it. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you again soon.